So Kyrie got traded to the Mavericks. I just literally stayed up last night to make this video on the Kyrie Irving trade situation, everything. Uploaded literally 2 hours later, he gets traded to the Mavericks. Anyway, let's talk about that after this video. Go watch that video, guys. Whatever. But let's talk about this Kyrie trade. So Kyrie got traded to the Mavericks for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first-round pick, and a 2027-2029 second-round pick. Now, for the Nets, I'm going to get this out of the way. This is actually a pretty decent return for the Nets because most of the teams that they could have were interested in Kyrie, like the Lakers or the Clippers, the Lakers especially, they only could have traded Russ and like 2 firsts, and I'm pretty sure they didn't want Russ and KD, and they wanted more competent actual role players that can help them now because they probably still want to keep Kevin, and they probably still want to be competitive. And I don't think the Lakers had those players for them unless it was like a 3-team trade situation. But I'm assuming teams just don't want to help the Lakers out for any reason because, you know, why would you help the Lakers? Let's give a moment of silence for the Lakers fans right now. All right, and then for the Clippers, I think the Clippers actually could have had a pretty decent trade offer. They could have Luke Kennard, John Wall, Robert Covington, whatever. They had some players that they could give out. The Mavericks came kind of out of nowhere. They were one of the teams that wanted Kyrie, but I didn't expect them to give this much. I think Spencer Dinwiddie makes sense. You're kind of swapping ball handlers there, and you know he used to play in Brooklyn. I think he'll, he's a really good 3-point shooter, and I think as a ball handler he'll be pretty decent as a Kyrie replacement. I think Dorian Finney-Smith is a really good perimeter wing, a big wing. He can shoot threes. I mean, you can never have too many of those. So I think for Brooklyn, they got 2 pretty quality role players. That 2029 first round pick is completely unprotected, which is absolutely insane. Because, I mean, not only do I not know if Kyrie's going to stay after his next contract, which would be like 4 years, which isn't even until 2029. I don't know if Kyrie's going to stay in Dallas in the next 6 months. You know, you really never know if Kyrie, man. Again, also with Luka, who knows if Luka's even going to be on the Mavericks in 2029. You know, they're probably hoping that, and they're probably betting on that fact that he will be on the Mavericks by then and they'll still be good. But a completely unprotected first round pick, what, 7 years from now, basically? That's insane. And the 2 seconds, whatever. For the Mavericks, this is a swing and a risky swing to get a star beside Luka. The entire time with the Mavericks, Luka has been the guy, and they tried trading for Kristaps to get him a second star. That didn't work out injury-wise and whatnot. And ever since then, it's kind of just been the Luka show. He's been completely by himself as the lone guy in Dallas. And, you know, you had Spencer Dinwiddie, Jalen Brunson, they got Christian Wood. Those are all, like, nice pieces around him, but none of them are really stars. And Luka this season has had multiple games where if he does not score 30, 40, 50 points, then the Mavericks have no chance. I think there was a game recently where Luka had more than 50 points. I think their second leading scorer was like Spencer Dinwiddie with like 12 points, and they barely won that game. So it's been very, very Luka dominant. And, you know, this is... Kyrie was like the only star that was really on the trading block. And I think for the Mavericks, this is a big risk. I think as a fit-wise, basketball-wise, I think it would be pretty decent because Kyrie's a really good off-ball player. He can play off the ball really well, catch and shoot, he's really good, and you know he can get his buckets whenever he needs to. But yeah, with Kyrie to the Mavericks, this is literally like I mean, this is a big gamble for them just because you know he still hasn't signed a contract with them. He's still only until this summer, and then he's unrestricted free agent. So there's always a very slight possibility that he could just leave in 3 months and you just gave up a 2029 unprotected pick alongside 2 of your better role players, and now you have an even more depleted team with just Luka. Now, The other scenario is that Kyrie does resign. Maybe, there's no more drama after this. I don't think you could ever say that with Kyrie. There's something else that's gonna happen in the future, but for right now, in terms of stars that they could get beside Luka, Kyrie is a pretty decent star to get beside Luka. I think it will be a pretty fun pairing. Defensively, though, this team is a bit bad now. I mean, Dallas wasn't really the best defensive team. Spencer Dinwiddie was a pretty big guard. Dorian Finney-Smith was one of your best perimeter defenders. Now you have Kyrie, Luka, and Christian Wood as your like big three in terms of scoring. On offense, they might score 120, 125 points, but on defense, they might give up 130 points. They don't have the personnel to defend. So, I mean, I think that's going to be something that they're going to have to address somehow. I don't know how, but the defense is a bit of a question mark. On offense, I think, when Kyrie was with LeBron handled a lot more of that point guard duty, setting people up, and Kyrie, worked really well in that system, just getting his buckets, but, playing alongside a LeBron. Luka is very similar to LeBron in that sense. So I think offensively, this pairing can really succeed. Will they win the championship this year? I really doubt it. I hope for their sake that Kyrie re-signs with them, or else this is a complete loss of a trade. But it just came out of nowhere. Like, subscribe. Please go watch my last video about Kyrie. But I'm excited to see what happens in the next 3 days before the trade deadline.